Are you a football fan? Have you ever found yourself wondering, what in the world was that ref thinking? Well, Mike D, the referee, is here to help you. Join me on Whistle Talk as I talk to professionals on the field and in the booth to help you understand what is going on inside the mind of a football official. Welcome back to another episode of Whistle Talk. Coach Chip, Coach Daniel, what's happening, fellas?
It's another glorious day, Mike D. Another glorious day.
Very
Red
nice.
Sox are bottom of the AL East, but they're coming up. The Yankees are giving them some help, so, you know.
You had to go there right away, huh?
I had to. Last time I completely forgot, Mike D. I forgot.
All right. I mean, listen, they laid the smackdown on the Yankees. Well, actually, I can't say that Boston laid the smackdown on the Yankees. The Yankees laid the smackdown on the Yankees. That was just horrid.
But gave you all the help you needed. Willier was just throwing the ball to New York from Boston. Chapman couldn't close out to save his life. Like, it's all right.
But I got one thing going for me. We're not the Mets.
There you go.
Coach Chip, what's happening with you, buddy?
It's all good, man. Just hotter than 9 miles of hell down here in West Georgia.
Yeah, and for those, we're recording this on Tuesday. For those up here in the Northeast, too, and you're going to be listening to this on Wednesday, make sure you're staying hydrated because it's supposed to be, what was that saying, Coach? Because it's coming up here.
Hotter than 9 miles of hell.
Yeah. Yep, we're getting that. We're getting in the hundreds up here in New Jersey and the Northeast and, all that other fun stuff here. So, but we also got the humidity with it, which is just oh so dandy. So, yeah, I will be staying hydrated. You'll see me. I got my big flask here.
Hydration. Yeah. Look at you. Put it on the merchandise shop. We got to have some stickers.
Don't say we never gave you anything because we're sending it all up the East Coast. It's going right up there to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. Keep the humidity. I'll deal with the heat. You can keep the humidity, but all right. So, gents, you ready for the kick game tonight?
I am. I did my homework. Stuff.
Good, because you're going to have to help me out here. Because the kick game is the one part of the game that all officials are going to tell you are going to mess them up in some way, shape, or form. So, tonight we're going to dive into Rule 6, kicking the ball, fair catching, the kickoff, the free kicks, the scrimmage kicks, the touchbacks, the fair catch. And ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is where our crazy stuff's going to happen. So let's dive in. We got a bunch of slides here, a couple video clips that we're going to show today. And let's get going with Rule 6. This is, again, one of those rules where I'm going to reinforce to everybody that are listening, my officials that are out there. Read this rule again. And when you think you know it, read this rule again. And then hit rewind and play this episode again. And then rewind it and play it again. And then when you're on your way to the first game, play it again. These are the ones that really come back to bite us in the ass and make us look bad as a crew when we make mistakes on these plays.
Please do, especially if you're officiating in Georgia, because we don't have that kicker this year. So we're going to be real creative with our kicking game, if you know what I mean.
Onside.
Yep. He can kick it high, too.
Ooh.
All right. The other day, I said I wanted to kick it so high it comes down wet.
Well, with the humidity we're going to have up here, that's not going to take much. All right, so definitions on Rule 6. We're going to talk about a kick. Going back to Rule 2 here, 2-24-1, an intentional, underlined, and italicized, intentional striking of the ball with the knee, lower leg, or foot. A free kick is used for kickoff, following a safety, or a fair catch, free kick. Okay, and that's 2-24-3. And our scrimmage kicks are 2-24-4, any kick from in or behind the neutral zone during a down, such as a place kick, a punt, a drop kick may be used. And kick ends when a player gains possession or when the ball becomes dead, not in player possession, 2-24-2. And we say this all the time, a kick is a kick is a kick is a kick. Because until it is not a kick, it is still a kick. So we want to make sure that we know that, because when we start talking about enforcement and different things like that, did it happen on a running play? Did it happen on this? Was it a kick? We want to know it's still a kick until it becomes possessed. So muffs are still a kick when we're talking about that.
Hey, I got a question.
Go for it.
I've been doing the math. Between the three of us, we've got over 80 years in football. Have y'all ever seen a ball intentionally struck with the knee?
I have not.
Me either.
I've seen it whiffed.
Well, when I read that rule, I've seen the ball kneed on accident. Like
Yep.
with a
Yeah.
ball.
Maybe
What
you're
they-
like, well, I've never seen one either. So
I didn't think you would have.
probably there just to cover, like, the kicker drops the ball wrong and now he's off his knee and the other coach is screaming and
Yeah, I think it's one of those coverall type of things.
It must have happened somewhere, or it wouldn't be in there.
Well,
or
I'm
a
going to
double
guess.
amputee.
I'm
Let
going to
'em
guess
get-
it was down in Oklahoma, where Daniel's from, in Tornado Alley. Somebody tried to punt the ball in a tornado, and the ball was spinning and hit them in the knee.
Could have been. Could have
Could have
been.
been.
All right, so the kickoff and other free kicks. So who wants to take this slide?
I got you.
All right.
Free kick lines. So free kick lines are always 10 yards apart. A scrimmage line for each team. Unless moved by penalty, K's free kick line would be their own 40. So K40 for a kickoff. R's free kick line is the 50. Once again, 10 yards apart. K20 for a kick after a safety. R's would then be the 30. And it would be K30, so 10 yards apart. And then through spot or fair catch or awarded fair catch for free kick after the fair catch. So you
Yep.
could spot it wherever it needs to be.
Yes, sir.
Punt cannot be used for free kick other than after a safety, which is, I'm glad, is in the rule book, because I think we discussed that before.
Yes.
Why don't you do that, or why would you do that? K can kick from anywhere between the hash marks on their free kick line. The referee has the authority to move free kick lines both to compensate for field conditions. I would love to see an example of that at some point, Mike, because that one's kind of... And then once K selects the location, they cannot move it unless otherwise allowed via 4, 3, 6, and 7, which we covered a little bit in the last episode I helped you on, but I'm sure we'll get to it later.
Yeah, and with this one, we're not seeing it too often right now, because instead of moving the lines, say kicking from the 40 to now kicking from the 45, and then the 10 yards would be to the opposite 45. The referee does have the ability to do that because of field conditions, but what's more often happening is if they're a right hash team, they may kick off from a little bit off the right hash, or different things like that. I can't tell you when I've really seen it that the 40-yard line has been a complete and utter mess, that maybe they kicked off from the 39 or the 38. But yeah, we do have, as the ref has the right to declare that, but then we are still going to keep that 10-yard buffer, that neutral zone. So
if you're
Coach
doing
Chip-
that, are you going to help the kicking team by moving it closer? Or are you going to help the receiving team? Or do you have to stay balanced and go one way and then the other?
So that's a great question, which is why we try to move it laterally instead of forward and back. So
I've got a scenario, y'all. Mike, you may remember we talked about this, I think, when I was on with you last year. We played at a place early in the season. It was the hottest football game I've ever coached in. Their fire ants were so bad, they had to move. Remember I told you they moved it
Yeah.
to different hashes? They had to move the kickoff. Because we told the officials, we said, listen, we kick from the hash. We kick from the far hash toward our sideline, sky kick it. And I said, we can't do it. And they said, well, just move it in. I said, no. And so they said, I'll forget it. And they moved it to the 45. Well, the other coach said something, you're giving them 5 yards. He said, no, I'm not. He said, they're not kicking it in the end zone anyway. He said, it's your field. You should have took care of the fire ants.
all right, so there's your answer.
That is a scenario where they will move the kick line. And I can imagine another one be down here when we have the hurricanes, that it gets so chopped up you can't do it. But
Yeah.
you know.
And again, though, to go back to Daniel's question on who we going to reward, because even if you're not kicking it into the end zone, your kicker is still kicking the ball 5 yards deeper on the field than where he normally would be kicking the ball from. So do you penalize the team by pushing them automatically back and now have to get in possibly another first down? So that's why we try to do it as best we can to the lateral side of the fields instead of forward and back. And if we do move it forward and back, Coach Chip gave an example. Well, it penalized the home team because they didn't take care of their field.
Exactly.
All right. Oh, I'm going too fast. All right, so here we go. We got a quick picture here of our neutral zone. Okay, ball being kicked off from the 40-yard line, right hash, and you see the R is at the minimum of 10 yards behind. Note, couple things really quick. Nobody is touching the line of scrimmages. Okay, your neutral zone, so nobody is on the 50-yard line. You have to be offset from the 50-yard line, and K has to be behind the 40-yard line, and also to say to this, K has to be within the 35-yard line before they start their approach. The only person that can be deeper than the 35 is going to be the kicker himself. And you will see scenarios where, with the surprise onside kicks, and I know Coach Chip can attest to this, where you have multiple people attacking the ball to kick the ball. Well, if you're going to do that and bluff with one, the person that does kick the ball has to be either inside that 5-yard, or let me rephrase this. Everybody needs to be inside that 5-yard buffer, right? Because if one person's out of that 5-yard buffer, they have to kick the ball.
They have to be the kicker, correct?
Correct.
Hey, now I know the answer, but go back to your picture, because this has come up before. Because nowadays, traditionally everybody puts 5 guys on the front line.
Mm-hmm.
But here lately, you're seeing 4 with 2 not too far behind them, almost like 6. There is no rule. Now, I think I know this. There's no rule how many. You can put all 11 of them up there, right?
Correct.
If you're dumb.
Just as long as you're behind that 10-yard neutral zone, you could have them all there.
Because we've had people complain about it when you do something different. They go, they don't have enough, or they have too many. Okay.
And if you want, you can move them all the way back to, say, your own 40-yard line, which then you're going to surprise onside kick the ball every single time. Right. We used to do it. It was an automatic if we saw a team was at the 45 instead of the 50-yard line, that we surprised onside kick them, get them. And that's when you had offensive linemen typically being your front line guys in the high school game, where you wanted them to get a little bit more depth as they're setting up their blocks, and they just didn't have the speed to get the depth, so they cheated them back. Well, when they cheated them back, well, you gave us more green to try to get that onside kick. All right, Coach Chip, free kick formations, the penalties.
6-1-3 and 6-1-4. After ball is marked ready for play, and until ball is kicked, no player can be beyond their free kick line other than kicker or holder. Penalty is encroachment, and they blow the whistle immediately, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
5-yard penalty. All right, no kicking players may be more than 5 yards behind K's free kick line, except the kicker. No foot on or beyond the line 5 yards away. If a player is more than 5 yards behind line, he must kick the ball. Penalty again, free kick infraction, and it's only 5 yards.
And now with both of these, I'm going to tell you, we're doing our darndest to get them aligned beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, as the umpire in the middle of the field, I'm with the kicking team. I'm actually, in New Jersey, we changed our mechanic. I'm actually behind the kicker now. And I'm monitoring, I'm setting the players up, making sure that they're in the right spot, and I'm making sure that they're not behind. Hey, move up, can't be on the line, move up, just scooch up. And then I got somebody else that's on the line of scrimmage to make sure that they don't break the line of scrimmage before the ball's kicked. Sorry, Coach, continue.
And in another example of the rule makers trying to keep a man down,
Yeah.
when the ball is kicked, at least 4 of the kicking players must be on each side of the kicker. So no more overloading one side for the onside kick. Penalty, again, free kick infraction, 5-yard penalty.
Yes, sir. And again, all of these we are going to kill before it even happens. So once and that's actually, again, going to be with me, the umpire, along with the referee's help, of seeing if they run a guy late behind the kicker. So if they're 4 kicker 6, and as they're going, somebody from the 4 side starts running over to get behind the kicker. If they're behind the kicker, I'm letting it go. But if they cross the kicker and now make it a 3 kicker 7, I got to throw that one, and I got to kill the play there. And
you do. Now, if they just line up wrong, will you throw the flag?
I'm going to get them.
Like, hey, just move over there.
I'm going to move them over before we start. I'm get preventative officiating in that aspect, because 90% of the time you don't see this in the varsity games anymore. It's the JV games, it's the freshman games where the coaches don't know it, and they're going to have the kicker on one hash and 10 guys on the opposite side for the onside kick. So they just don't know this rule. But we're going to try to get them set where they need to be for the most part. Also, just so people know, if you have a windy day and you need somebody to hold the ball, that holder counts into the count. So if you're a righty kicker and you have 40 your left, and now you need one of those guys to come over and hold, it's got to be somebody from the right side, because if you bring somebody from the left side, now you've got 3 kicker 7. So it's got to still align in that aspect. And that's nitpicky, but that's what the rule states. All right, and there you go with the formations again. And again, this one's standard. It's 5 kicker 5, middle of the field. This one's the easy one. We all know it's special teams, it's kick game. It's never going to be this easy. All right, touching and recovery of free kick 6-1-5. By the receiving team, any R player may catch, recover a free kick in the field of play. Can advance unless an R player has given a valid or invalid fair catch. R can catch and recover a free kick in K's end zone. Say that again. R can catch and recover a free kick in K's end zone. I don't know how the heck.
Now, is the reasoning for this rule because we have the touchback? If the ball breaks the plane, then it's a touchback, right?
Correct.
So is that what we're doing? Is just saving? Like, we absolutely can recover this thing.
If
it's not an automatic safety, or there's nothing automatic about it. Correct.
So if you're I should say most commonly, but the only time I can truly see this happening is if it's after a safety and you're kicking the ball off and it's a super windy day and you punt the ball really high and the wind catches it and blows it now backwards, which I have seen in the kick game, but it blows it back far enough that it goes into your own end zone. R can jump on that for a touchdown.
Do you remember the video that was making the rounds last year where somebody was kicking off from like their own 1 yard line?
I don't.
It was crazy. I think you and I talked about it. It was a year or two ago. And and everybody was talking about it. All the comments were it must have been a boatload of penalties that moved it back. It was like on the 2 or 3 yard line.
Yeah, I do recall it now. Yes.
Yeah. And I can see that, what you're talking about, absolutely. Because, down here in the Egg Bowl, Mississippi State Ole Miss game about 30, 40 years ago, there was a field goal. And the video's out there. You can find it on YouTube. That ball went through the uprights and blew back the other way.
Was that the snowy game, too, that game? Was it snowing?
That wasn't a snowy game.
No.
That snowy game, I think, was a bowl game with Mississippi State. But now,
okay.
It was real grainy, but you can see there's a video floating around out there. It's back in the 70s or 80s. That ball literally went through the uprights and blew back.
All right. So, last bullet point here is if the kick becomes dead inbounds between the goal line and no player comes in possession or with joint possession, the ball is awarded to R. Now again, this is a free kick. If I kick the ball more than 10 yards and nobody gets on the ball and we blow the whistle and kill it, that's not an inadvertent whistle at that point, because if nobody is making a move for the ball and the ball has come to a complete stop, we're killing it, and it's going to be R's ball at that point in time there, because once you kick it, we're awarding it to the receiving team. But golly, if you're on the kicking team and you don't touch that ball or grab that ball or pick that ball up on a kick, well, you don't deserve the ball.
That's right.
You're right.
All right. Coach Chip, touching and recovery of a free kick, 6-1-6.
All right, by kickers, any kicking player may catch or recover a free kick if, in any order, kick has touched the ground, kick goes beyond plane of R's free kick line. Any K player can recover the ball before R's free kick line if R touches it first. Touching is ignored if K blocks R into the ball or K muffs the ball into contact with R. and you see that they'll do it on purpose.
Yes.
When any kicking player catches or recovers a free kick, the ball becomes dead. It belongs to K unless it is kick catching interference accepted or first touching.
Correct.
Buddy, I tell you, that first touching that's coming up, that stuff can get complicated.
Oh, yeah. That's why the kick game is fun.
Look, first touching. Is this me?
That's you.
First touching a free kick 617. Definition of first touching is a free kick is touched in field of play by any K player before it crosses R's free kick line and before it is touched by any R player. It's basically touching it in that 10-yard window.
Is it a penalty?
Such touching is ignored if caused by R pushing or blocking K into the ball. R may take the ball at any spot of first touching or take the result of the play, which we discussed the last time I was on in detail. R's right to spot of first touching is canceled if R touches the kick and then commits a foul or any penalties accepted for any foul during the down.
So now the first touching one, is it a penalty if K touches it between the neutral zone?
Last time you said it was not. It just
Correct.
gave R another place they could take the ball.
Correct.
So no hanky on the field. Just
Nope.
The coach has to be told you can either take it where he touched it or
The result
take
of
it
the
with
play.
the result of the play. Which generally we see K jump on it and gather it up right at 9 yards, and so
Yep.
then of course you're just giving it to R. That also is the result of the play.
And I will tell you, this is a very common mistake that not only officials make, but also the coaches make, thinking it is a foul for first touching, and it is not a foul.
What do you throw to mark? So obviously you're not throwing a yellow flag. Do you throw your beanbag or anything to identify first touching? What, as a coach, can I expect?
You should see a beanbag. Unfortunately, I can't give you a universal answer for that because a lot of states' mechanics are slightly different. But here, we're going to drop a beanbag at first touching to mark that because of the fact that scoop it, return it 15 yards, fumble it, K gets the ball. I want the ball at first touching. So I need to know exactly where that is. So that should be universal, but I don't want to answer for everybody in that aspect.
Well, and I thought about it when I read it earlier. So using Daniel's examples, onside kick, kicking team touches it at 9. They just touch it, and it keeps on going, and then the kicking team recovers it. Well, obviously, receiving team is going to take first touching, not
Correct.
the result of the play. The other example could be if first touching happens, the ball keeps going, bounces off people, and then goes in the good direction for the R for the receiving team, and then they recover it. Well, now they're going to take the result of the play, not
Yep.
first touching. So there's several. That's why I say it's very convoluted, and I hope coaches are listening and watching your podcast and your YouTube, because this stuff matters. You've got to know, and this is not a knock against officials. It's so complicated. Sometimes the officials don't know. So coaches, you've got to know. It's kind of like knowing your rights in the real world. You've got to know the deal.
Mm-hmm. The worst part, I think, about this is, and I'm going to refer to the two coaches here, how many kick plays are there a game compared to offensive snaps, offense/defensive snaps?
Well,
10 to 20.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a
it's 2 for every
percentage of
touchdown,
you're looking at a
2.5.
percentage of maybe 15 to possibly 25% of the game involves the kick game. But as coach, I always remember this is where you get your biggest momentum swing happens on a special team. Okay,
Absolutely.
by a blocked kick, by a punt return, but whatever it may be. And this is because we're utilizing so much of the field, it's a broader spectrum of where things can go wrong and happen. So there's just so much little detail that we need to know. It's not a play that we get to take off. It's a play that we really need to hone in and focus on. And that's why, unfortunately, you do see, watching the games on Sunday, you do see a lot of flags come out on the kick game, but they're very hyper vigilant with it. And I'm going to agree with 99% of those flags that you see on Sunday, that somebody's getting blocked in the back because of the speed of the covering team and different things like that. So, but it's something we really got to be hyper vigilant with. All right, my onside kick king, Coach Chip. You want to take the other infractions?
All right, another case of the man trying to keep a guy down. A pop-up kick is illegal. Immediately into a pop-up kick is one that goes immediately into the ground. And you and I talked about this last year, and you've got a great way of determining if it's a pop-up kick is using your height.
Yep.
If it strikes the ground once, then goes into the air as if off tee. Rule of thumb, and this is Mike D, hits ground once within 1 yard of tee, goes 6 feet in the air above heads. Penalty, free kick infraction, 5-yard penalty. So, Mike, you just stand there, and if it goes above your eye line, it's 6 feet.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Now, I've got questions coming back. I'll finish. Free kick shall not be kicked out of bounds between the goal lines, untouched by R. Free kick shall not be kicked out of bounds between the goal lines, untouched by R. Penalty, free kick infraction. R has 4 options. And this is what I was talking about. This is convoluted as crap. Number 1, 5 yards from previous spot and re-kick. Number 2, 5 yards from succeeding spot. 3, put ball in play 25 yards beyond previous spot. So, 35-yard line, if it's from the 40.
Yes.
4, decline penalty and put ball in play at inbound spot. This is rare. If touched by R, the receiving team, then kick goes out of bounds. R gets ball at inbound spot. No foul.
All right. So let's go back really quick to the pop-up kick first, Coach, and then I'll get to your questions with it.
That's it.
So the pop-up kick, again, this is something that me as the umpire, if it's an onside kick situation, I'm behind the kicker. I've got 2 officials on K's line, 2 officials on R's line. My sole thing now is once I get everybody aligned, is I'm focused on that football to make sure it's not a pop-up kick. And again, this is to prevent injury, because if you go back to what we talked about with what an onside kick is, the recovery by K may recover a kick if it has touched the ground and goes beyond the plane of R's free kick line. So that makes it good. But now with the pop-up kick, it's hitting the ground once, and now if it goes up 10 yards, 10 feet in the air, whatever it may be, and now you've got somebody standing there staring up at the ball was grounded first, and now they're looking up at the ball, that guy is free game to be absolutely clobbered. So that's why they took this play out of the rule book, because they want to prevent that. And again, going back to my days playing and my days when I first started coaching, our onside kick team had 3 fullbacks right where the ball was going to be kicked to, and they did not care about the football. They were not there to recover the football. They were there to go bulldoze and clear the space for the skill guys that have better hands to get that onside kick. And when you did the pop-up kick and you had somebody staring up in the air, they were getting a helmet right underneath the chin and making highlight videos. But now, no longer good.
But here's my question.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish your statement. I thought you were done.
So this is another one of those plays where I see it, I'm blowing it dead right away. I'm not even waiting for that contact to happen. I see that ball elevate higher than my eyesight, and again, I'm 6'3", so that's why I use that as my goal. A lot of people will just use the higher than the helmets of the kicking team, or possibly even R. They use that as a reference point, but whatever your reference point is, kill it right away, because we don't want that contact happening.
All right, here's my question. Let's say we kick an onside kick, and it immediately goes down, which a good onside kick should go down immediately. And it goes up, because 6 feet ain't that tall. It ain't that high. But it comes down before it crosses the 10-yard, the neutral zone.
Okay.
Are you still going to kill it?
Depends on how high you're saying, because I agree with you.
I'm not saying super high, because if it's super high, it's not going to come down within the 10-yard neutral zone.
Yeah,
But I can see it going 6-7 feet and coming down and maybe hitting the ground twice before it breaks the neutral zone.
And again, letter of the law, should I? Yes. Because I've coached, I can also see what the intent was with some kicks. I've seen a kid do this 100% accidentally. He just mishit the ball and it hit down into the ground. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't call it because it caught me off guard. It wasn't an onside kick scenario. It was in the game. They weren't onside kicking it. But when I went back and I watched the film, I'm like, golly, he got me. Because my eyes weren't right. But if it is an onside kick situation, if it is the end of the half, the end of the game, I'm going to kill it. Because we have to call that as tight can be. So if it's the middle of the game, I'm going to kind of play intent in my mind really quick to see if that was the intent. But I know a good onside kick takes that first bounce, takes that second bounce, and then bam, it's up 15 yards up in the air. That's what you want. But between bounce 1 and 2, it may go 6.5, 7 feet. So I'm not going to completely keep that as a hard line number. But if I see the kicker go up and drill the ball straight into the ground, kicking the top of the ball with the intent for it to bounce, then we're going to kill it. Again, I have my eyesight, but 7 yards, 7 feet, I'm 6'3". Maybe I'm wearing high shoes. Who the heck knows? So I'm going to kind of play that one by eye and see how it goes with that. All right, Coach. So now your kick out of bounds, you said, was very convoluted. Why do you say that?
Just so many choices.
Gotcha.
And what I'm saying is there's no right or wrong answer. It depends on the situation, like who touched it, who recovered it, or whatever.
Yep.
The different, that's why I'm saying it's convoluted. Anytime you got 4 probable scenarios, that's convoluted to me.
Well, and it's something that we have to...
It's not the rules poorly written. It's just there's so many choices.
Yep.
You mean choices in the outcome? Because the penalty itself is not too
No.
right?
These 4 choices. You got...
Yeah.
The 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I'm saying. And now the referee, bless his heart, has got to come explain to the coaches, all right, here's your choices. And you try to explain it in such a way that it's going to turn out beneficial for them.
So
and again, coaches learn the damn rules.
And I'm not going to lie, what we like to do is present to them the outcomes, not present to them this per se. Right. We're not presenting to them 5 yards from the previous. We're trying to say, okay, Coach, you could take the ball on the 35-yard line. You could take the ball went out of bounds at the 25. You could take the ball from the succeeding spot plus 5 yards. So you could take the ball at the 30-yard line. You can back them up 5 yards to re-kick. What do you want to do? Because declining the penalty and putting the ball in play is exceptionally rare, except for when you have some of the wind-blown type of oddities and things like that. So... But even with that wind-blown oddity, I might still take that extra 5 yards. So, but we're going to present them hopefully with the best outcomes so that they know and say, oh, well, I could take it there or I could take it there. Yeah, okay, I'll go there. Lateral spot. Where are we placing the ball between the hashes? Do the coaches get a choice if the ball gets kicked out of bounds?
Yes.
No.
Oh, man, I was going by our last conversation. Man, you set me up, you sucker.
They are not with this scenario. You're getting the ball on the hash where the ball goes out of bounds, plus the 5 yards if that's what you're taking it from.
That's right.
So it's not like the fair catch where you can get it anywhere you want to.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
And again, a lot of coaches and a lot of officials don't know that one. But as an umpire, I'm in charge of lateral spots, so I got to know those things.
Kind of rule of thumb, if there's a penalty on it, that's probably staying where the penalty marked it, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, as a coach, it's a good way of thinking. Like, if you threw the penalty flag because of whatever reason, the ball's probably going where the penalty is, unless it was off the previous spot. Even on offense, right?
Yeah.
If you get holding, you're on the left hash, you run to the right, you get holding over on the right hash, the ball's going over there. Like, the penalty takes the ball places. So that's another way to think about on this kickoff return. The ball goes out of bounds, a flag comes out for a penalty. it locks it to that hash.
And the kick game, in essence, yes. With the run game, we're going to talk about that one with Rule 9 because there are a lot of different choices, and they've made it easier
There is
now.
a bunch on that one. But
Yeah.
yes.
But they have made it easier, but it is something that we're definitely going to talk about with that. All right. And what we were just talking about are realistic options for the free kicks out of bounds. And we're going to try to give the coaches these. Ball goes out anywhere from R30 and beyond, just before R's goal line. R first and 10 at the 25, advance the ball where it's kicked normally from the 40-yard line. So with that scenario is you get it 25 yards from where the ball was kicked off. So if it's off of a safety and you're kicking the ball from the 20 and you kick the ball out of bounds, the receiving team can get the ball at the 45-yard line of the plus. Or K, re-kicks from the previous spot minus 5 yards. If the ball goes out anywhere from the 30-yard line forward towards K's goal line, you're probably going to want to take it plus the 5 yards of where it went out of bounds. So this one we need to really get a mark of where the ball did go out of bounds. So if I kick an onside kick and I'm kicking from my 40 and the ball goes out of bounds at my own 45, they're going to take it at my 40 because we're going to advance it 5 yards from there. So it's basically you're going to use that 35-yard line from a ball kicked from the normal 40-yard line spot as what's going to delineate, hey, coach, you get it 5 yards from here or re-kick. So things like that. We're going to try to give them the simplest choices.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right.
Me.
I'll take this one here. When would R decline the free kick out of bounds penalty? So here's a scenario for you. K, kickoff at K's 40-yard line. K attempts an onside kick. The ball is bouncing at the K 45-yard line where it hits K 22. The ball continues to roll and goes out of bounds, untouched at the R 48-yard line. So our options here now, because it went out of bounds, and remember, a kick is a kick is a kick, because there was no possession gained, 5 yards in re-kick, so K is going to kick off from the 35-yard line. 5 yards from the seceding spot, which is going to be R first and 10 from K's 47. 25 yards from the previous spot, so you're going to have 35-yard line. And decline the penalty, R first and 10 at the K 45, first touching. So that's where you're going to see the declination of the penalty, where they're going to decline it and they're going to take first touching. So R cannot take the spot of first touching and then accept the 5-yard penalty, though. So they have to decline it and take the result of the play or first touching. Make sense?
It does.
Yes.
And again, we want to make this as simple as possible for you coaches out there. All right, Daniel, touchbacks.
Touchback on free kick 6-3. It is a touchback if any free kick breaks the plane of R's goal line, unless R chooses a spot of first touching by K. A kick is a kick is a kick is a kick. So fair catch free kick. Ball is live until successful or failed once beyond the goal line. So it does not become a touchback because they're trying for a field goal.
Correct.
If any free kick becomes dead in K's end zone while no player has possession, it is a safety or touchback determined by 852 and 853. Safety forced by K via the original kick or a muff. Touchback forced by R via a muff or bat after kick has touched the ground. So when we get into force and oh man, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole episode itself on just force. All right, Coach Chip, easy one here for you.
Thank you. Replaying free kick down 6-1-8. Free kick down is not repeated unless foul occurs prior to change of possession and acceptance requires replay. Free kick out of bounds, receiving team choosing option to re-kick, and some other fouls. There is a double foul. There is an inadvertent whistle. These are when the free kick is not repeated unless. So a double foul, that's offset penalties, so that's the same.
Yep. Re-kick.
Consistent with the rest of the game.
Yep.
Inadvertent. Oh, that's why you gave it to me. You can't say that word.
Nope.
Got him.
You're a quick learn, coach.
There's an inadvertent whistle, which is a replay too. So you don't give them a choice on that one, or is it a choice? Because, during the course of a regular play from scrimmage, they get a choice. So there's no choice.
If we're going to talk possession with this one.
Okay.
So due to the length of this episode, I'm going to be cutting this episode halfway for Rule 6. We're going to stop here at this point, so be ready to listen to the remainder of it next week as we continue at Rule 6 on the kick game.